Dr. Eben Alexander is a famous neurosurgeon. Like a lot of people, he only believed in science and did not believe in the existence of God and the soul. But on November 10, 2008, at 4:30 a.m., he contracted a severe case of bacterial meningitis and fell into a week-long coma. In that period of time, his consciousness reached a level he hadn't thought possible.
And what happened next was this slowly spinning white light that came towards me, a very clear and pure light that had fine white and gold tendrils off of it. And this white light came towards me, and the best part about it is it came packaged with a perfect musical melody. Both were my view, and it was a rip that opened up into this brilliant, ultra-real valley. And I remember ascending up into this valley, up into this brilliant greenery, lush with life, absolutely fertile. And I had no body awareness, but I was moving up through it because I was a speck on a butterfly wing. Now, this was not a butterfly like some entomologist here on Earth can give you genus and species. This was the real deal. And butterflies in that realm, just like we often have dragonflies, butterflies, and hummingbirds that are messengers from that realm, from souls of the departed loved ones. And there are thousands of stories out there. I'm sure there's some in this room about that very phenomenon. But in that realm, butterflies are far more powerful and amazing than they are in this realm. And I was a speck of awareness, and it turns out on this wing of this butterfly, this was one of millions of butterflies, and they were looping and swirling in this beautiful river of love and color and life beyond description. And I remember how we would dip down and go through that lush greenery, and there would be flowers and blossoms, buds on trees that would open up even as we flew by. I remember the rich textures and colors beyond the rainbow, and so beautiful. And in that beautiful valley, as we would come up and ascend above all that greenery, I could see that there were hundreds of souls dancing. And when I wrote it all up weeks later, as I came back to this world and was trying to record the whole experience, I described them as being dressed in peasant garb, very simple clothing, yet beautiful colors, and tremendous joy and merriment. And there were lots of children playing and dogs jumping, and it was just a wonderful festival. And it was all being fueled because up above, in the velvety black skies above, were pure spiritual beings, orbs of golden light, swooping and swirling in formation, leaving sparkling golden trails, emanating these hymns, chants, anthems, powerful like a tsunami wave, crescendo after crescendo after crescendo of the most beautiful music, waves washing through me. And that's what was fueling this incredible joy and mirth going on in this Gateway Valley, as I came to call it. Now, the important thing to understand is that Gateway Valley was much more real than this world. Far sharper, crisper, and more real than this. This is very dreamlike by comparison. That was a deep, deep mystery to me for a long time, trying to understand that ultra-reality. It's very hard to put it into words.
There, Dr. Alexander reviewed his own life with the utmost lucidity. A beautiful girl looked at Dr. Alexander with a very loving smile. Her angelic smile was beyond any words of love. It was an unconditional love. The girl never said a word, but Dr. Alexander could perceive her thoughts in his consciousness.
And this is, in my view, the central message of Proof of Heaven. You are deeply loved and cherished forever. You have nothing to fear. You will be taken care of. And nothing to fear is very, very critical, because I saw very much, in my view, how this was not a battle between good and evil, between light and darkness. In fact, there's plenty of evil and darkness in this world, but it's not a force that is against love and light of that infinitely powerful Creator. We simply serve as channels to bring that love and light into this world, and it displaces the darkness and evil. Love is the coin of that realm, and the more we can serve as conduits of that love, because our very consciousness is a direct, absolute connection to the divine, infinite healing power of that all-loving source. And by serving as conduits for that, and allowing the love to come through us to our fellow beings, to show compassion, forgiveness, mercy, acceptance. That's all that matters. And that's what these lessons are all about. And that's how our souls ascend, is by getting closer and closer to that perfection of that love and ascending towards that oneness with the divine.
Then Dr. Alexander came to a special realm. It was there where he says the Creator was waiting for him.
I finally emerged into this realm that I call the core. Infinite inky blackness, filled to overflowing with infinite unconditional love of that Creator, all through eternity and infinity and higher dimensional space. And in that beautiful, all-powerful, infinite love, there was also this brilliant orb of light, brighter than 1,000,000 stars, that I remember being there and I thought that it was somehow serving as an interpreter or translator. A very strong sense of the three of us being there, of that infinite, all-loving, creative power, far beyond any naming, far beyond any description. And yes, that deity has no gender. I was told, now not in words, this is pure conceptual flow, you're not here to stay. We'll teach you many things. You'll be going back. And I hope you understand by now that when I say the three of us, you know, this infinite, all-powerful creative source and that orb of light and my conscious awareness, this was consciousness far beyond the limited consciousness of Eben Alexander. This was the consciousness we all share, far deeper, far more profound, a direct link to divine, which is in each and every one of us. And you don't have to have a near-death experience to come to know this. Deep meditation and centering prayer, that's why I do so much of the work with sacred acoustics, is to help take that to the next level and help people to meditate in a much deeper fashion, because that is how we can come to know these much deeper truths.
Dr. Alexander, like many others of the same generation, grew up with the belief that science is the pathway to truth. He initially adhered to the conventional view that the brain creates consciousness, but after Dr. Alexander emerged from his coma, his perspective on consciousness changed dramatically. His brain at the time was incapable of providing any hallucination, dream, or psychic drug effect due to the global damage of his neocortex, and his neurologic exams, scans, and laboratory values prove that. The experience completely defies all conventional scientific understandings. According to medicine, he was not supposed to live till now either.
And what I'll tell you is that pure materialism in science, you know, just the physics, chemistry, biology, that is so woefully inadequate, even the first sentence to explain consciousness. That very same conventional science, which still holds the bully pulpit in this world, front page of the New York Times and all of that, in many ways is on the way out. This is all about a far deeper understanding of who we are and a great gift to science. This is all about science and spirituality converging. They're far more powerful together. And as much as one would like to think that science is a search for truth, you have to remember there's kind of an unwritten rule in science, and that is that you cannot invoke any kind of a God, any kind of superior intelligence that might be at the core of all that's happening in this universe. My doctors to this day will tell you they have no explanation whatsoever for how I had a complete recovery within about 3 months, when they were basically certain I had no chance of recovery at all, other than surviving for a few months and then dying. And for those who want to hear more about that, I often steer people to that beautiful book that helped me to start glimpsing how this healing can happen. It's a book by Anita Moorjani. It's called Dying to Be Me, a very powerful book.
As mentioned in the last episode, Anita Moorjani also mentioned that this kind of unconditional love has the power to heal. Perhaps this power is what brought about the complete recovery of these two individuals, a phenomenon science cannot explain. In the words of Dr. Alexander himself, he emerged from this profound experience with an unshakable conviction, and said, "There is not a shred of doubt in my mind that our consciousness, our spirit, our soul is eternal." If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please support the channel by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Do you know of anyone who's had a near-death experience? Tell us about it in the comments below.